Good afternoon. I'm Nathan, and
I'm Monica.
And we're here with
Lorena.
And this is our GCM110 Career Connection interview. So, Lorena, do you mind just starting out by telling us what you do for a living?
Okay, I'm a creative design specialist at Mary Kay Cosmetics here in Canada. So I basically work in the in-house department, and I established that department, I guess it's almost 12 years now. I started off at a design agency, which was called Scribblers Club in Kitchener-Waterloo. So after coming from there, I brought my knowledge from Scribblers Club, and they wanted this in-house department started at Mary Kay Cosmetics because their literature for print and stuff like that was basically becoming more of a need. So that's what I'm doing now. And I also have my own LD design loft that I do on the side. So I create my own designs. I basically offer it to anyone who wants to personalize their own, birthday invitations, wedding invitations, or anything like mugs and stuff like that. So that's something that I do on the side, which is pretty fun and it keeps me creative. So yeah.
All right. So would you say that this occupation, is it for everyone, or would you need a passion for it?
I can't really say that it's for everyone. I guess because you should enjoy graphic design and communicating. Not everyone will be as picky with the Pantone colors of the season. Not everyone will be obsessed with kerning. So I think it's not for everyone, but I think everyone can be creative and you can start in, you might find it something that you like, but the passion it's there. I think it's not necessarily just passion though, that you also have to have I guess a professional intention when it comes to graphic design. So I guess to answer your question, not for everyone, but if you really think you can dive into it, it can be learned.
Yeah. And so with that, were you always interested in graphic design, or did you have sort of other plans?
Yeah, you know what? I read, I guess you sent me that question before, and when I was thinking about it, I always loved doing design. I just didn't know there was work for it, right? I didn't know you could make money. So when I was in high school, the person that encouraged me to do it was actually my communications teacher. So, we were allowed to take a communications course. And when he was saying, yeah, you can make money off of this, you make your portfolio, you can design, that's pretty fun. I thought I'd go into teaching. And then when I said, okay, well, what do I need? So he said, your drawings, your typography, and I made a portfolio. And then there was Conestoga College was where I went to school, and I applied and I got in. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can make a living out of this, I think that's a big plus because I really do enjoy it. So yeah.
Perfect. And talking about school, actually, our next question.
For school. Okay. So what was your educational background before applying for this position?
From Conestoga College, I finished a diploma in graphic design and advertising. So that was a 3-year course, and with your diploma, you were able to get in. But I also had the experience from the design agency, which really helped. So experience on top of the diploma allowed me to apply to Mary Kay.
And with your education, at Conestoga, what sort of things did you learn? What courses did you need? Because obviously we can say that you took graphic design in class, but what courses did you take that help you with your experience and help you get to where you were or where you are today?
You mean from the college?
Yeah,
I guess they would. Yeah, typography, Illustrator, Photoshop. The thing that I found was really first year at Conestoga is pretty intense when I started because you weren't allowed to touch the computer.
Oh my God.
No. Whoa.
See? So what you needed to do everything on board, pencils, crayons, airbrushes, everything it was analog, where basically you had to use your hands. Typography, you had to trace everything on blowing your mind. Trace everything on paper, and so you transfer it over. It's a whole technique, right? So you draw the fonts. You need to know your kerning. So everything has to be lined up. You kern it. So they made you write your name. There was a project for every font that you think your name work if your name was a brand. So we did that, transfer it, current it, and your board has to be flawless. If there was a smudge, you had nothing. So it's that bad, the critique. That's why first year was very hard. They wanted to know if you understood the theory behind it and if you knew how to design. Like, it was really tough. So when we had our final critique, you knew. People dropped out of that course so fast when they knew it was like that. So after that, then second year you learn to use the computer. So they taught you about Illustrator. And now you're like, wow, now you can type things. But you found that going back to your boards, like the things that you learned, allowed you to like, wow, now I can scan like things that I painted. Take it and scan it, extract it, use the paintbrush, and then put it in my design, use texture. You weren't limited to just like, I'm just gonna do a circle and take out the path and whatever. So that, I think, just made your mind always see design in a different way. You know what I mean? So then typography and font knowledge, copyright, like you need to know all that stuff too, because you need to be a professional when you're doing graphic design, right? So and then there's a psychology. We had to take a psychology course and pop culture, because you should know what's going on in the world of pop culture.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because a lot of the graphic design programs, or what a lot of people think, is that you take graphic design and then you learn Illustrator, you learn Photoshop, and for us, our first year classes, there's not really much of like drawing involved, and it's really like we're taking a course where they're just introducing us to Illustrator. But I like what you said, where you had to like learn how to write the fonts yourself, and like learn kerning, because you just take that and you realize that graphic design is beyond just like the computer screen. Like there's more you can do.
No, I love what one of my teachers did say, that it's like the computer is just a tool, just as your pencil is a tool, right? So I mean, you put a pencil in an artist and you're like, wow, you can do so many things, right? So a computer for a graphic designer, yeah, it's your tool, right? And you can expand your world with the things that you can do with it, right?
That's perfect. And so speaking of tools, I think we're going to move on to your work. So you say you work at Mary Kay.
Yeah.
So what would you say would a typical day look like to you at Mary Kay?
I mean, you have to be flexible, because a typical day could go from like, okay, I'm close cropping this morning and doing like a registration form or something like that, to being pulled to a meeting, then you have to do a campaign for an advertisement, right? So I guess like a week, I would say we'd start off with meetings, and we'll have like for social media, we'll have like a brainstorming session just to talk about what we want to do, the imagery that we want to do for the week or the month, just planning it out. It's always good to plan with your team. And then, you have to check your emails and stuff like that. File management has to be on point when it comes to being a graphic designer. So I've been tasked to make sure our stuff is always managed correctly. And so when it comes to management, your project management skills also have to be up there. So so then I'll be designing or laying out, like I said, could be from a flyer to a poster to a banner. So designing logos and stuff like that too. And then there's meetings in between. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the next question: how do you manage your time between work and family?
Do you know I have 4 kids? Yeah. You know what? Like, the thing is, I mean, you don't have as many hours in the day, especially when you have family and stuff. I do find myself, I wake up earlier. But no, like, if you do need to ask for help when it comes to family. Like, I know I have my husband who's very helpful, so he's very supportive. So you do need that support, and you do have to have that balance. The thing with Mary Kay that I can really, I'm very proud of that company, is because they do encourage you to balance your work and life, right? As a designer, that was a thing I found when I worked at the design agency, is that, yeah, you are expected to work overtime. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, it is part of the life, right? Being a designer, you are you're going to have late hours, you're going to have that. So right now, I found a place, like an in-house design agency, does allow you to have that balance, because you clock out at a certain time. And if you are needed to, stay late, it is planned out. They do know, and if it does happen that it's unexpected, it's not all the time that it happens. So that's important to balance it out, I guess it's just that, yeah, you have to make it work. I guess if it's important enough for you, then you'll make the time. And for me, like, I do need to be there for my children and my family. So like, it's like, okay, I'll do this. And if I'm doing stuff for my business, it'll be like when they're asleep, so I don't sleep. So that's probably how I answer that question. So right now I'm dreaming. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, balance is important. And you will find different seasons of your life. You're gonna have a different need. But I paid my dues in the beginning. I was staying late hours. So, I'd be like, we'd work on a project and campaign and I'll be there till like 2 in the morning sometimes. So there's that. And at school, I remember I stayed in class, like we slept under tables. Sorry, I know we did that. I don't know if you guys are doing that too. It might happen. So if it doesn't, I'll be wondering if you're really into this. No, so it's good. I mean, yeah, just don't forget to take care of yourself. It is very important. So.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about balancing your work life, your family life, and these two groups of people, I just wanted to wonder, like, who at Mary Kay or at LD Design Lab, what other groups of people do you work with, and also, like, what are some of the common tools that you work with, like working at Mary Kay and at LD?
Okay, well, the type of, I mean, we have copywriters and editors, photographers. The thing is, I know I do photography as well, so we do them in-house. So, but we do have external freelancers and stuff like that. The copywriters, we have them at Mary Kay. And like when it comes to tools, it would be the camera, like videography and stuff is a big thing that we've been starting to do. Like I mentioned earlier, we do video a lot more. And just having, like, I guess platform-wise, Macintosh is kind of the platform of choice. But we use PCs and stuff for web designing as well. So we have both when you're trying to figure things out responsive, web design. Yeah.
All right. So next question: how do you resolve conflicts with clients or with your coworkers?
Conflicts. You're gonna have them. No, it's. I guess that's a thing, right? Like, if you know that you have the same goal, you're just trying to make sure the client gets the right brand and the right thing. You just have to be respectful. Whatever it is, you don't have to like raise voices and get all mopey and stuff and emo or whatever, right? You just need to make sure that you're respectful. And like I said, go back to being pro. You're here, you're a pro. You need to work so that when you come out of a meeting, they would say that, she knows what she's doing and has the best interest of the client, right? So, there will be criticisms and stuff that will probably hurt your feelings and stuff. That's why you just have to, right? Like, brush it off. And no one means it to be hurtful. So, be respectful, be diplomatic, and treat others as you want them to treat you. That's actually a Mary Kay thing. Like, that's a rule. Yeah. That's a big thing we go by. And it's true. Like, I mean, that's part of life. You should treat people with respect. So.
And okay, so just more about work. So would you give us more insight in saying the process that you would have, like from meeting a client to like having the finished product and like ending things off with your client?
Okay, I guess there's different scenarios because I'd like Mary Kay. I mean, my one client would be Mary Kay because it's in-house, but I do work with different project owners. So I guess the beginning would be understanding like what the project is about, right? And then any material they can supply you with, like grab that and read through it and see if you really understand what the promotion's about, what their objective is, and how they want to be able to communicate, using your tools, like using, do you want a flyer, do you want something for social media, do you want something on the web? So that to me is important to understand, to read and do your research. So if anything else has, is something similar that you've done in the past, maybe you can kind of take on from there. And then I guess when you're diving in, sketch on paper. Like, don't be afraid of the pencil. It kind of brings me back to what I learned at school. Like, your pen, your pencil, your paper, take it out. Like, no one uses them anymore. You should, right? Like, write it down, because like when you doodle, like even if you don't know how to draw, it's not essential that you need to sketch and draw all the time, but at least even if you're just jotting down notes, it's important. And then after you've done that, then you dive into the computer and then see what you can come up with, and then like look for styles and like research, like take out your magazines, like communication arts, applied arts, like things like that, like tools that you can help inspire you. And not just there, go out into the world and look at things. I always find that when you travel, I come back with new stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not like, you're just stuck in one room, like, you know, researching on your own, but you have the web in front of you. But when you see things applied out there, it makes your mind, you know, expanded. So, and then when you meet again with the client, you know, present to them so that they can easily visualize what you were trying to explain. I mean, that's part of like, you know, I guess when you're pitching the idea, it's best that they can see it, because they might not understand it just in words, but if you're able to mock it up and show them, then do so, if you really want an idea to work.
Alright, so what would you say is the most important aspect of graphic design other than designing?
Communication and people skills is important, right? Because like, it's one thing to know design, but like if you can't, you know, explain your idea, it might just fall flat. Like they won't be able to be on board with what you, and it might, if it's hard to work with you, they don't want to come back, right? And that's kind of like, I've found that I've met designers, you know, they're very talented, but then clients have a hard time working with them, and they just kind of like say, okay, well, thanks, you know, I'll go somewhere else, right? So, because yeah, it's true, like you have to be approachable. Like, you know, there's just, sometimes there's a bad rep, I think, that some graphic designers have, that they just want to mope in the corner and like be like, you know, leave me alone, I just want to do my work. But like, you have to allow other people to feel like they can share in the idea, especially when it's someone's brand. That's their brand. Like, don't you want to know what they're about? Like, someone was like, if someone's like a fashion designer and they want a logo from you, don't you want to know who they are? I would love to know. So if you're just like, yeah, I know who you are, I'm gonna start, then I'd be like, I don't really think you understood, right?
Yeah.
So I think being a good person overall, you should be all the time. But yeah, people skills is a big thing, and like, I think just having the eagerness to learn all the time is very important, because you can't know everything already, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, we're in a world of like knowledge, and it's in your fingertips. You can grab it and just use it, like take it, like learn it from YouTube, learn it from things, right?
So just to add, so why do you think graphic design and in general graphic communications, why is it so important to today's society?
I said to make things pretty, right?
Yeah.
We just want to make things pretty, but also it is important because like in anything that you do, it reminds me of Michael Beirut. He's one of the designers from Pentagram. He was talking about the election with Al Gore and George W. Bush, where there was a controversial topic where the ballot that they were using for I believe in Florida, the way that voters would punch in their votes, it was lined up kind of funny, that people are like saying, well, it looks like they're wanting to punch Al Gore's name, but they kept punching a different person's name. So it just kind of shows you that, yeah, graphic design is very important. You can't just like slap it on and expect people, yeah, whatever, I wrote it, it should line up and it should just work. You should care about what you're doing, and it's very important because it could cost an election, right? So, yeah, other than making things pretty, it has to be able to communicate, it has to be effective in what you're doing. So, yeah.
Or cost.
It didn't cost
Miss Universe.
Yeah, Miss Universe.
For the Oscars.
Exactly. So, yeah.
And I guess to end off, do you have any advice for us and for the first years in our program about graphic design, for those who want to follow in your footsteps? To me, you just need to have to keep creating for yourself. It's one thing if you were, you work for a company, that's great, you're getting projects, but I've said this before on Twitter that your creativity is no one else's responsibility. You should be creating, you should be doing things that make you happy and stuff, right? And always keep learning. So, and be a pro in all that you do, because like,
you know what, that's what separates you from everybody else.
And before we go, did you want to tell them where they could see some of your stuff?
You go to my website at lddesignloft.com, and you can follow me on Instagram. That's where the party usually is. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you so much for spending time here to give us an interview, and I hope everything goes well. And that is it for our interview, guys.
Thank you.